Hey, Jeff Munn, creating extraordinary futures. Are you addicted to stress? So I didn't even think that was possible until I started seeing it in some of the leaders that I was working with who had this seeming inability to slow down, to look at some of the broader things that I was pointing at, who constantly seemed to be in doer mode, do, think about, evaluate themselves in terms of how many items they checked off their to-do list. As soon as those things got checked off, magically other things would appear. It seemed like they were never done, and it seemed like they were unwilling to actually step away from the work of doing and doing and doing. And I started asking myself, why? And then I started looking at human biology, human physiology. And when you think about what stress is the production of chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol that come surging into our bloodstream that help us focus, that help us stay on task. It's what kicks in when we procrastinate, and then we need that last little bit to get us across the finish line. And frankly, a lot of the time, stress feels good. We feel alive. We feel focused. And yet, there's a downside to stress. There's at least a couple of downsides. And I'm going to go into a couple of them, and I want you to evaluate for yourself. Is this something that you're experiencing? So the first downside is health. When we get cortisol and adrenaline coursing through our veins, those chemicals are connected with several chronic conditions, a lot of health issues. Things like diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol are linked to the inflammation that the consistent flow of adrenaline and cortisol produces in our bodies. Our bodies were not designed to have those chemicals coursing through 24/7. They were designed to be under stress in that way 5 to 10% of the time. So you think about hunting on the savannah, you go after the lion or the big game kill, and you kill it, and then what do? You eat it, and you rest, and you digest, and then maybe a few days later, you do it again. That's the way our bodies are designed. And so health is the number one issue. Being under constant stress, not sustainable. Issue number two, when you are running a business, when you are under stress, your focus narrows. You get really good at seeing one solution and doing one thing over and over and over again. Maybe a little bit faster than you would have done it before, certainly with more sense of urgency. But you're missing all the stuff over here. If you have a complex relationship issue with an employee, you're going to just barrel through it. You're not even going to see it. That person's going to feel ignored. When you have a strategic issue, when you're asking yourself this question about, what direction should I take this business so that we're ready in the next 5 years for what's coming? All that processing power goes offline. So you have this ability to think synergistically and holistically, and to get in touch with what we call intuition, which in a lot of ways is just this vast parallel processing network based on all of our prior experience. And we can very quickly come to conclusions that are not available to us when we're looking at a spreadsheet or in fight or flight or in that kind of serial processing mode of one thing after another based solely on logic. It's stuff we can't explain, and it is invaluable as a business owner. So the question I have for you as you think about, am I addicted to stress, is how easy is it for you to step back from your work? How easy is it for you to have non-productive time, to go for a walk and just think about things, to play with the dog, to just sit and stare out the window and daydream? If you have trouble with any of those things, if this little nagging sense of guilt comes in about, I could be doing something, I should be doing something, then you might be addicted to stress. And the first step is, as much as you can, give yourself some time during the day, and you can disguise it as productive things. You can disguise it as exercise or a meditation practice, or whatever you want to call it. It sometimes, as a transition, it helps to put a label on it to give your logical brain some reason to call it productive, but really design that stepping back into your day. And the next thing is, get another perspective. Have a conversation. Help yourself see what you're not seeing, whether it's some kind of mentor or partner or a coach, just to look in the same direction with someone and see what can be different, can be incredibly valuable. You would be shocked how much time you can save by seeing things differently, and by seeing how many things you're currently doing out of that sense of, productivity or efficiency that are just completely unnecessary. One of the things that I've noticed is that as an achiever begins to see what's actually available, they end up having more and more open time on their calendar. They end up prioritizing differently. They end up taking more days off. They end up enjoying their life more, enjoying their families more, and their businesses are more successful. So if that's something that resonates with you, reach out. Let's have a conversation. And until we talk, or until next time, take care. And I'll see you soon.